Welcome back to the nationally syndicated Price of Business show. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. And I do want to mention that not only are we in markets coast to coast on terrestrial radio, you can find us on every single major web platform, from Apple Podcasts to iHeartRadio to Spreaker, Google Radio, Google Podcasts. The list goes on. So make sure you check it all out. The best way to do that is over at priceofbusiness.com. All right, we're going to our money man. That's what I call Chris Kidd. He, which is amazing because, we're always dealing with economists, major media personalities and investors. But he is my go-to guy when it comes to all things, both strategic and tactical money things for real people. So much of the stuff that we hear in the financial world is so highbrow, so pie in the sky, so inaccessible. And he makes this stuff accessible to everyone. And it's why I consider it really important. Chris Kidd, welcome to the program, as always. His website, chriskidd.com. Real quick, kind of give us the elevator speech, if you will, about what you do.
Well, man, Kevin, I think that was a pretty good introduction myself. I'm a financial coach, and basically, like you said, I try to make sense of, money situations, whether it's personal finance, getting out of debt, investing, building a business. I try to teach people in what I say English, basically easy to understand terms. And I love working with athletes and people in that area because that's kind of my background where I grew up. I've always loved sports and been around it. So a lot of my analogies are related with sports when I'm teaching somebody. So if I am working with an athlete or something, they relate very well.
Yeah, absolutely. And in some of my best, some of our best interviews on the show, in the history of the show, which is 20 years, has been ones you and I have done with celebrities, athletes, and hearing their stories, which are very unique. Everyone's story is unique, but the unique perspective, particularly of the challenges for athletes, and for celebrities, celebrities that are in entertainment, a lot of feast and famine. And that requires a whole different type of money management. Then we're interviewing football players, NFL players who have careers that are often 3, 4, 5 years and not much body left after that's done for much else. So that requires another form of unique planning. And so anyway, that would be a good topic, by the way. We won't do it today because of the tax season, but that would be a good topic for us about the different types of challenges your various type of clients work with. But let's talk about taxes, one of those inevitabilities in life, and it's coming fast. And, and there's been a lot of changes in taxes thanks to COVID that aren't great changes, to be perfectly honest with you. But talk about what are some things we can do, real-world things we can do to mitigate taxes.
Yeah, taxes is my favorite subject ever. And if anybody didn't catch the sarcasm, I absolutely hate taxes. I would rather watch paint dry than deal with taxes.
Oh, any day.
You got to do them.
Day. Any day of the week. Well, jump into it.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I already asked you a question. Kind of give us some pointers, some things to navigate it. Go ahead, jump right into it.
Well, definitely when it comes to taxes, you want to deduct as much stuff as you possibly can because we are under it is our responsibility to pay as little as possible in taxes. The government will take as much as they possibly can from you, but it really is our responsibility to pay less in taxes if we don't owe it. And honestly, I mean, it's kind of like giving your kid, some money to go to the store with or to go run off somewhere. They're not going to be, if I give one of my kids, $50 to go to the store, they're going to spend it all. They'll find a way to spend it. But if they made that $50 and they go out, they're going to be a little more conservative with it. So I think it's better in the people's hands than it is the government's hands. But I'm not going to get on that soapbox. I'll try not to too much. But one of the best ways to pay a little bit less in taxes is, especially like for a high paid individual that like I had a client that I had met with years ago, and he made pretty good income. It was several numbers were on there, and I said, well, number one, you make way too much money as a W-2 employee. You have to do something to offset some of this because the government is taking half of your money.
Hold on. Before we go further, just for, I know the question the listener is asking, he owns this business, correct?
Yes. Well, no,
yeah,
this person did not own a business at the time.
Okay.
They do now, but they were a high paid employee at the time, and that can be anybody from an executive to a professional athlete to an entertainment person. So depends on how you were paid, but if you don't have some sort of a business to offset that, because there's a lot of stuff you can deduct owning your own business, and I know a lot of business owners listen to this show so they can relate. But I mean, because I told him, I was like, look, there's stuff that you're going to use anyway, and things that you want to do anyway. You're going to spend the money. It's just a matter of whether you're going to be able to deduct that from your taxes or not. There's all kinds of examples, and I don't want to get in trouble for anything. But check with your CPAs on stuff. But there's a lot of things that you do every single day that you could deduct if you just had a business reason for that, a legitimate business expense.
Very good.
So that's one. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, very good. I mean, a great example. It's amazing how people, if they own a business, go from one tax bracket to a lower tax bracket just by deducting, because they can legitimately, and again, we're talking broad examples. We're not advising anyone to do anything in this segment. But, finding things that if you're using your cell phone for a business, or could be using it for a business they create, that could be a legitimate cost of that business. That's just one of many examples that people can pursue.
Well, another thing, Kevin, is a few years back, I don't remember, there's an election going on, and the deal with Warren Buffett saying his secretary, paid more taxes and everything. Well, yeah, that is true. It's because it's the way he makes his money. And as a business owner, your company can be doing $100 million a year, and you don't have to pay yourself $1 million, or at least not $1 million salary. There's ways you could set it up. You could pay yourself $30,000 a year and be in a lower tax bracket, and you could set that stuff up to where a lot of that goes either to a retirement account, or you pay yourself dividends, which is taxed at a lower tax bracket than your regular income. So that's another way of kind of maybe not totally getting around the taxes, but at least a little bit. So
yeah, we don't want to say, we're not advocating that, by the way, and I liked your suggestion earlier. Talk to a CPA, no question about it, but you're absolutely
tax
right.
Evasion is illegal, but tax go ahead.
Exactly. Tax mitigation is very legal, and shame on you if you're not doing it. You're not a very good steward if you're not of your money if you're not doing that. Because I agree with you that the money, in government's hands, it just turns into garbage. It's incredible what they do with their $30 trillion debt and unbelievable amounts of money coming in. They still can't figure it out. What are some other practical suggestions? Obviously, there's like a lot of no-brainers that people just tend to miss. Their annual, and it's a little late now, but they should do it this year, their annual cleaning out of their garage and closets and sending it to nonprofits.
Yes, that's and get receipts when you do that. A lot of people, they do it out of the goodness of their heart, which is, that's where it should be done from. But at the same time, get a receipt so you can deduct that. I mean, you should be doing it for the right reason, but that doesn't mean that the government should keep the extra money. I mean,
Right.
in my opinion, if I get my deduction for my charitable giving and it keeps more money in my pocket, then I can go give some more versus, giving it to Uncle Sam and letting them just be reckless with it. So definitely keep receipts on any kind of charitable donations. If you volunteer, you can deduct time. You can deduct mileage. There's so many deductions you can have there. And again, I mean, one of your best investments is a good CPA. There's a lot of stuff that, and I get in this situation a lot, and I'll be sitting down with somebody and giving them ideas and stuff, and then I start getting over my head, and I'm like, okay, I know you can do this, but I'm not the tax guy, and I don't necessarily know exactly how to do it, but I know it can be done. And what I would do is go to my CPA and say, okay, I know we can do this. Help me figure out how to do this, or what can we do here to change this tax situation to where we can save a little bit here or there. And investing with pre-tax dollars is another great idea. You can invest and put your money aside in different vehicles, and a lot of times you can offset some taxes with that. There's a lot of advantages in real estate. If nobody's investing in real estate yet, that is a great place to be able to look as far as to put investment dollars and to be able to offset taxes. And I don't want to get into too many of the details of it. Again, check with the CPA, but there's a whole bunch of deductions through real estate investment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question about it. And what's shocking to me, Chris, is that a lot of people don't even fully take advantage of some of the no-brainer ones. The amount you're paying in interest on your home loan if you're buying, paying for your home and you're not renting, your student loan interest. There's just a lot of no-brainer, which again, if you're not in this business, and again points to the value of a CPA, you're going to make those mistakes.
Yeah, and if you're running a business, credit card interest and any kind of interest on any loans or debt that you have, you can deduct that as well. A Roth IRA this is kind of more of a wealth building type deal, but it's also kind of it helps on the tax side. So you can invest through your Roth IRA. If you don't have one, then set one up. But if you invest through your Roth IRA, that's done with post-tax dollars, so you're not taxed again when you pull that out. So whatever you make in that Roth is tax-free. Of course, you got to wait till you're 59 and a half, and if you are starting like I was at 19, 20 years old, you think that's a long ways, and of course it sneaks up on you, and I'm halfway there now, so I'm like, well, shoot, it's not as long as I thought, but
yeah.
I think it was Mitt Romney had made, I want to say like $5 billion. It was something. It was a very big number, and completely tax free. And it was back when he was running for president, and this whole deal came up, and everybody was mad about it. But he did it. This was how he did it, and he invested in real estate through his Roth. And everything that was done was through his Roth IRA, so that was constantly building. You could make billions of dollars completely tax-free doing it that way. And they're working on closing that loophole, but there is another loophole that you'll have to contact me about that could possibly get around that if that happens.
Yeah, and the best way to do that is check out chriskidd.com. And you can contact him through that. Again, KIDD. And the way the Roth, people are going, well, why would I want to pay taxes on the front end? Because it's probably a pretty good bet that when you do retire, taxes will be higher than they are now. That's why. There's nothing with a $30 trillion debt. There's no reason for optimism that the tax burden is going to get lighter in the years to come. And so that's why, bite that pain now rather than more pain later. Okay, we're kind of at that point. We're running out of time. Beat the Clock is already well in progress. Chris, final thoughts?
Yeah, don't just run off with any advice that myself or anybody else gives you. I'm going to give you some sound advice and tell you things that can be done, but you got to also know how to do it. So make sure you get with a good CPA. They're a great resource. You will pay some money for them, but in the long run, you will make and save a whole lot more.
Yeah, very good. All right, Chris Kidd, thanks so much. chriskidd.com. He is our money guy. You can see him, by the way, all over on several of our websites. Chris Kidd, and that's KIDD.com. I'm Kevin Price. This is The Price of Business. It is a show that never ends, and what we mean by that is that it continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com, where we are daily adding new content, audio, videos, articles, and more. While there, make sure you like it on Facebook, follow it at Twitter at Kevin Price Live. Stay tuned for more after this.